Hey, Bloodworth here. This segment is cut out from the Easy Allies podcast, which we record every week. You can catch full episodes on Sunday mornings, or if you become a patron at $5 and up, you can get early access and get those on Fridays. Thank you and enjoy. Damiani, you just reviewed Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Yo.
Yeah, not just you, but everyone is talking about how great this game is. Only one weird thing popped up. Some NPC got missed. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah.
So yeah, like in the review build, apparently this NPC doesn't have VO at all. But on launch day patch, they patched it with text to speech. And they said it has text to speech, so they're like, we're gonna patch it later. We forgot to record the VO for that one character. So rather than leave it silent, rather than leave it silent, like in the review build, they're like, we'll give it text to speech. I'm like, just leave it silent then. Like
silent.
what?
Yeah,
that's so weird. Yeah.
So, just seems like an oversight, weird mistake. But otherwise,
yeah. But in the current environment, I do think the AI replacing, voice actors potentially, like that, that threat that people are worried about. It doesn't, just a little bit of like a fumble there. It's not like that big of a deal, honestly, because they said they are going to put an actual person's VO. It's just kind of, both amusing, but also a little like, that nervous chuckle, like, that's funny. Next time around, that might actually be like what they're testing the waters there to see how like angry people are getting and stuff,
Totally.
I don't think so. I think it was just a complete production oversight somehow. But
I mean, for this, but Ubisoft's probably one of the companies that'll probably embrace AI voice acting first.
Sure.
Yeah.
But talk about this game though. Prince of Persia going back to 2D, going to Metroidvania style, and by all accounts, it seems to be working out really well for them.
Yeah, this is a kind of like a reinvention of Prince of Persia. This game is definitely very good. And there was a lot of concern that we might not ever see another Prince of Persia game because I had to like look it up because I kept thinking it was like 2013, 2015. It was like 2008, 2009 was that Prince of Persia, like that really reboot. Awesome art style one reboot. It was like 15, 16 years ago. There's some mobile game in the 2010s. Then like whatever, and it was just like a new version of an older one anyway. And then we heard about Sands of Time getting the remake, and we were so close to it, and they're like, it's not good. And then went to like, it's in development hell right now. And so Assassin's Creed went on to become like the spiritual successor to Prince of Persia, taking those concepts, evolving them into a more open world environment. So was there really even a place for Prince of Persia other than like remakes and remasters? And here you go. Not every game needs to be a triple A, 3D open world, extravaganza. And Metroidvanias, extravaganza. Metroidvanias are a really good genre to try your hand at. And I think it's not just because it's random. I do think there are a lot of elements that crossed over to this really nicely. Oh yeah. And the developers for this game clearly played a lot of like the best in the business when it comes to Metroidvanias, because they were clearly borrowing a lot of good ideas, but also working in a lot of like the Prince of Persia DNA. Of any Metroidvania, I think this has like the best platforming sequences, some of the most intense platforming sequences. Maybe the one bonus area in Hollow Knight, the cathedral area, if you're talking, what I'm talking about.
We're talking about movement, dude. Guacamelee 2, dude. Best movement. Have you played that?
Movement-wise, yeah. Like maybe there's games that have like a little bit like better feeling movement. I'm talking about like the challenge of platforming. Like this has some very challenging platforming segments. Some of it's optional too, but they put some nice challenges forth. I would say like the chapel cathedral part in Hollow Knight's probably a little bit more frustrating. Like it definitely doesn't get that hard. But that's the thing. This game is all about what are you comfortable with in terms of difficulty.
I was going to say, are there difficulties, Damiani?
Dude, this game was made for you in terms of like they listened to Michael Huber. They listened to the Michael Huber rants on difficulty like that. All right, Michael Huber, here you go. 4 presets, unlock from beginning. And you know what? You don't like any of those? Perfect. Go into every single one and tweak every setting you want. Change
that.
enemy health, change enemy damage, change your damage output, change the parry and dodge windows,
So fully
change like how
customizable.
much. Yeah, it's like insane. It's really nice to have. So like
Is there
me,
a
I
secret
wanted like, okay,
unlockable one?
no.
Okay.
But you can make something harder than the hardest difficulty, I guess.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, because
With the custom stuff, you can slide everything. It's like Draconian. You could, what is it called in Dragon Quest?
Yeah, the draconian modifiers.
Yeah, modifier. It's sort of like that to an extent.
Sick.
And that's really good. But also, they have some things I would more classify as like accessibility. Like they have a platforming assist, which is literally some of those like more challenging platforming segments. You'll just put a warp portal there. You just warp across. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. So
like that.
whatever, like maybe you like the combat, maybe you like the boss battles, but you're like, dude, I don't like the platform. I'm not a platform player. And in Metroidvania, it's like, I really am not like some of the ones I like. Maybe I don't do that a lot. You can just skip that. There's like aim assist. Like in this game, there's a lot of dodging, backflipping, sliding under people. And I could see a lot of people might whiff attacks by attacking in the wrong direction. So it just always faces you towards the enemy when you're attacking. So you don't have to ever worry about like, whoops, I hit the attack button. So they thought of a good amount. It's not like everything, but it is pretty good. And like so much credit for that because I think that allows so many different people to enjoy this game, whether they want it to be like a breeze, they want it to like feel like it's enough challenge, or if you want to go like really ridiculous, you can go really ridiculous with this game. So yes, Huber, difficulty, this is like
Crank
right
it.
up your alley in terms
Heck
of those. Yeah.
And the optional
for
stuff's
sure.
even harder, like way harder than the main
Oh, so
stuff.
there was like a platforming room, which like felt like a Resident Evil death trap room.
Yo.
Like, cause they kept sending like spikes and shit at me, and they kept like doing, you know, the laser in the movie where it fakes
yeah.
it out.
Hell
Like it does that shit because it like gives you the pattern. I'm like, oh, I know this. Then it like reverses it the last second. Like what the hell? I was like, come on, and you got to do it all over again. I'm like, oh, come on. Yeah.
Damiani,
There's some cooler stuff in that. Yeah.
One of the most important things for me, well, there's a bunch of important things with Metroidvanias, but one of the most important things, the upgrades. How do those feel to get?
Dude, everything is upgradable in this game, Huber. So you can go, there are a bunch of different NPCs. There are hidden NPCs that sell you stuff. And there's multiple currencies. So the currencies are all used to upgrade. The basic ones like time crystals. You go to an NPC, the main one in the hub area, she can give you like increased healing potion count. So you can have like +1, +2, I think goes up to a few higher than that. You can increase their potency. Then there are new amulets you can buy. These are like equipable accessories. It's Hollow Knight badges. It's literally Hollow Knight badges. And they give you all those effects, and you can't equip enough, so like you got to like mix and match with those.
Love that.
You can enhance those multiple times at a blacksmith.
Nice.
And the first time it's just paying with that first currency, but then you need these other coins eventually that are like rewards hidden throughout like the environments, like either secret corner or doing like a side quest, something like that. And then you need those to come back to spend to upgrade that. Then your weapons, your swords, you can upgrade those multiple times, but you need this like precious like material for it. They're really hard to find.
So
Same
it feels
with your bow
really
and arrow
good
that you
getting
get.
all that stuff.
Yeah, and like as I said, Huber, for most of the game, I was like, economy. I don't have enough for everything. Like, what do I want to upgrade?
So you gotta choose.
What
I
was
love
most
that.
important?
I love that so much.
And because I played the preview build, I knew what to start with. I went in like with healing and the sword upgrades, and I think it paid off very nicely for me.
Fundamentals,
But
usually good way to go.
yeah, but I think in the amulets, it's a big deal because like one of them is like the first one gets like a extra health bar, and it's like you upgrade it multiple times. It gives you like 3 or 4 or something when you like fully upgrade it on top of like they're like heart container system in this game. They're called like soma petals. 4 of them gives you like another one is permanent one, and then some bosses just drop a full one as well. So if you know that and you're like, well, maybe I don't need that health thing. Maybe I want something that does like increases my melee damage or I take less damage, and you buff those up. And man, and some of them are like environmental, take less damage from environmentals damage. Like reduction to like elemental stuff, like you can get shocked, you can get burned, you can get poisoned. And some zones, like there's a sewer zone where it's like you're gonna get like it's toxic sludge paradise, Huber. Everywhere there's toxic sludge. and all of it puts a poison dot on you. So yeah, oh yeah. So you might want to consider switching out your amulet then for
Speed run through
something
that
with a little bit
zone,
bigger
Damiani.
poison.
Just give me that one
I
quick.
think they want you to try that, and you run into stuff. Yeah, but that's the thing, Huber. The other thing besides economy, enemy variety.
Yeah.
This
even
game
from the
might not
demo,
have
we
the-
encountered so many different enemies.
Yes, it might not have the most enemy designs of any similar game, but the fact that their attack patterns are so different and
love
varied, and the fact that they like each new zone, you'll encounter stuff, and it's like what, like this, they're just weird to see the first time.
Yeah.
So you just get like wrecked by one. You like beat a hard boss, go to a new zone. What's this dude like doing like delayed attacks and like jumping through the air, and then
That's
there's
so
like
cool,
flying
dude.
enemies at the point. Yeah, they really throw
That's
you
so cool
for a
because
loop a lot of the times. Yeah.
A lot of Metroidvanias, you can get through so many like trash mobs just the same way. So it's really cool if you actually have to adapt like all the time to these different enemies.
Yeah, on like first run-ins for most of them, you're going to be dealing it and like backtracking for a little bit. Eventually, I think you'll get powerful enough that in some of the
Mash 'em out.
starter zone areas,
Got it.
you're going to be able to wreck them.
Got it.
They won't be able to put up as much a fight, and plus you have those special attacks. I was playing the demo today, and they give you a few abilities you don't have right at the beginning of the game.
Okay,
and
yeah.
one of them is this cross slash that goes across the screen and knocks back enemies. There were like two tougher enemies, and like it basically one shot them. Like, oh, okay. Like I don't know if like that was its default power, but if you save and stack up your stuff, you really can like just annihilate something. And some of these special attacks they're like very cinematic, very over the top. Like the one of them he does is like just like looks like a nuclear bomb goes off or something. It's like insane. It's like it's a giant explosion.
Awesome.
It's insane. Yeah.
Nice.
Hell yeah, Damiani. I'm so hyped, dude.
Yeah. Hubert, did you hear about this thing with the pin system, the screenshot thing for places you can't go yet?
No.
It's really freaking sweet. Damiani, explain how that thing works.
So, in a Metroidvania where you come across something and you're like, crap, I can't do that yet. I can't
Yeah.
go down that path, or I can't reach that item.
Yeah.
So usually you can just like put down like a marker.
Yeah.
And
Blasphemous
like
2,
even Hollow Knight.
I used them a lot. I used them a lot in
So-
Blasphemous 2, and I played that last year.
You have normal markers. There's a normal marker system. You have like 100 markers you place, but then there are these things called visions, or something visions. You start with 20 of them. When you leave those, it's like a brighter icon on the map, and when you mouse over and click it, it shows you a screenshot of that immediate that room. So you can be like, oh, it's that. So you're not like, why did I leave that marker there? I have
That's
like,
good. I
and,
like that. Okay.
So it gives you a little bit more context. So it helps out a lot.
That's pretty sweet.
It definitely helped out a lot.
Yeah. Blasphemous 2 has like different icons. So like I'd put like a treasure chest
Yeah.
if I couldn't get it, or like a hard enemy, like a skull if it was like a hard enemy. But actually, like, because even then, like, even with that symbol, I'd be like, wait, what? There was a chest there? Like, did the power I just get make me able to get the
That's
treasure chest?
it.
Let me go see, and like, oh no, it was something different. Like, yeah, so that's pretty awesome.
That's what this deals with. And yes, that's exactly what I used it for. Is like,
That's
I
great.
know it's one of these. Let me look at the photos. Okay, that's clearly I need that power there. I'm going back.
That's sweet.
And yeah, the powers in this game. Like we talked about offensive powers, like the traversal powers. I know you talked about movement earlier. Shout out, you should give your shout out to Guacamelee. Like I love like Hollow Knight's movement. This game, like it has air dash, it has double jump, it has like a grappling hook like thing where you can grapple two things or pull things to you, like your basics. But the two coolest things are being able to make platforms, like toggle platforms basically on command for these certain stretches. And they mix in like hazards and enemies. It gets insane. And on top of that, you also have like this shadow clone thing you can make where you can leave your clone in a spot. And sometimes you have to do like leave it in a certain spot, go do stuff, and then send yourself back. And it can repeat certain actions, but also there are platforming puzzles where you have to use that as well, and it like will make you think. And it's like, what? The ultimate test of this is like there are these statues that you come across where they're going to give you 3 attempts. You have 3 successive attempts to send a version of yourself through like a kind of like a puzzle environment. and you have like a time limit for each. They each have the same amount of time, and you have to reach a goal. But like the first one cannot make it, so you like have to like alternate between hitting switches and shit like that. But it gets way more complicated. With the last one I did, it was like I was on it for like 30 minutes. It's
Holy
like,
crap.
okay, what the heck? I was like, okay. And Shadow Clone was like one of the answers for one of them. And at one point, it wasn't even the main solution. I was like, oh my God, I forgot I gotta use Shadow. Oh my God, this got way more complicated. I was like, I don't think you could do this. And I'm like, oh, can you use your Shadow Clone while? I was like, oh God. I was like, all right. So
Awesome.
there are some fun puzzles in there, but a lot of the hardest ones are optional though. So you don't need to do them if you don't want to.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Can't wait, Damiani.
And then you talked about the regular enemy variety, but it seems like there's a lot of bosses just from what I've seen so far.
Frickin' these bosses, man. There's one particular I could talk about. I won't say what it was, but it's a ranged filth fight where they're the ranged filth, and you have to try and get in close on them. And I'm like, was so angry at that
So
fight. It
satisfying
was probably like
getting
the
in close.
It was the second hardest fight for me because it was the style of it. I'm like, this is not what I've been used to. I don't like this. I'm like, damn it. I don't want to be patient. I want to run in and do this. I'm like, every time they get you, they know you're going to do it. They're like, nah, you're running in. You weren't supposed to run in then. You're getting punished. I'm like, come on. Just let me get there sooner. And like, they have multiple phases, Huber.
Yeah.
They get like insane. And when you lose, you go back to the start. There's not checkpoint system on them. Like you go back to phase 1 on all these. So you're going to get a little bit far into the fight, die probably, and then, get better at that phase and then move along. And it felt really good to someone like me. It wasn't too overbearing. It wasn't insane. And it felt really good when you finally like beat those fights and like were learning how to dodge or use your some of them make you use your powers pretty, like you have to be very clever with them. And it felt satisfying. It felt very satisfying to think up the solution and be like, oh, I'm going to try. That's it. Yes. Feels so good to do that.
Damiani.
Yeah.
Nice. Anything else, Damiani, you want to talk about before we move on?
I mean, just give it a chance. Probably. I don't think the demo's the best demo. In a
That can happen.
Metroidvania, they literally lock you out as you advance to a new area. It won't let you backtrack anymore. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, you need to. Like, so you can't even anyway, whatever. And there's not even a boss fight in it. I'm like, oh, okay. It's just literally just
weird.
progress. It feels very linear with only one part. You can really go anywhere a little bit different. And it's not even that far of an excursion. And I don't know. It felt kind of like a miss for a demo. So don't judge it maybe based on the demo. Feel how the combat and the traversal and powers feel because they give you a decent amount. If that feels good, then, maybe give the game a chance. And it doesn't really become like a full-fledged Metroidvania until like maybe a few hours into the game when it kind of opens up everything to you. Like it's kind of like a more confined in the early hours, but then it does open up.
Nice.
Got it. Nice.